Hello everyone, it's Friday, it's, sometime in the morning. I'm Stu, this is the Flow State podcast, and in the immortal words of our friend John Coffey from the Green Mile, I am tired. I know he didn't say exactly like that, but, the sentiment's the same. It's been one of those weeks where I just feel like, you're running on fumes and 100% pure determination to power through to the end of the week. And look, it's kind of that time of year, right? So if I don't appear as enthusiastic and optimistic as usual, then whatever. Anyway, what I thought I'd do today is we're rounding off the year with some practical sales chat, is actually sell ourselves for a change. I want to talk about a solution that we've built that we are now surfacing to the great unwashed external world, you, my friend. So it grew out of Flow State. It was an internal tool. We've sort of started to show it to people outside of our client base in the business itself. And I just wanted to chat about it because it sort of slots into the conversations we've been having. And also I don't do a very good job of actually selling my own businesses, I have been told. So I'll try and address that today. So here we are. So as you know, we have been very focused on the complexities of B2B sales. And last week we spoke about the parallels between selling into public sector, to the government, as well as the private sector in B2B. Now, the reason I'm raising that is because Flow State itself, as I've been sort of trying to step out of my own, God complex founder bubble to get some external feedback on the business and where we're positioned, I'm coming to realize is actually quite a sales-oriented proposition, even though we typically have been dealing with marketers over the course of the last few years. So the reason for that is we sort of sit in that gap between sales and marketing, right? Where marketing say they're generating leads, the leads tend to be rubbish, they all just drop into a black pit and never get looked at. Sales feel like they have to generate all their own leads, but they're usually horribly off brand and just off going wild in the aisles, doing whatever they need to do to generate revenue. And look, there's a bigger problem that obviously we can't solve there, but what we do is we sort of slot in and we bring predominantly sort of a sales approach actually to marketing, although obviously many years in digital marketing oriented roles has sort of brought that side of things to sales as well. So the reason I'm telling you all this is because the solution we built called the Hub is an analytics and sort of audience insights tool that we have been using for quite a few years internally. I mashed together the first very ugly versions myself using a wonderful combination of Google Sheets and WordPress, which was, look at the time, just did the job. Doesn't need to look pretty. It was just telling you the right stuff. And the original use case for us was we needed somewhere to put all the information that we need to run our program, which is our other solution. And we there wasn't one tool that did it. So it's the classic, we had a problem and we built a solution approach. And fast forward to now, over the course of the last 4 years, it's been through various different iterations. We're on version 9 now, which is the one that we're just releasing. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, because what I'm looking for is, if you're a client already, you will have access to it. So just look at it and tell us what you think would be helpful. If you are not a client and you would like to try the Hub, I just want to explain what it is, why you might be interested, and what you can tell me. We're running closed, invitation-only free trials, and there's a reason for that, which I will explain shortly. So, first of all, let's go through the 4 W's and then what's the other one? The how, the H. What is it? So, what it is as I mentioned, an analytics and audience analysis tool. So it contains 3 things. It does LinkedIn analytics for both you as an individual and also for teams. The main value prop there and why that's interesting is it unlocks information that is impossible to measure and manage inside LinkedIn. So it's all based around your organic profile performance, both you as an individual and you across your team. So we can measure your reach, your engagement, who's interacting with you, who are you interacting with, what's the monetary value of all of that interaction, and we can measure all that over time. We can measure it as snapshots. We benchmark, if you're doing team stuff, your entire team, and then we can measure everyone's performance relative to everyone else. This is all stuff that should be in LinkedIn but isn't. It's all locked away on individual posts and loads of other stuff. So it's super useful. The two primary use cases for that are obviously from a marketing perspective, it helps you understand more of the value of the channel. Because like many channels, LinkedIn only want to give you the advertising data. They don't want to give you anything else. And it also helps you to understand, the impact on your target audience. So how close are you getting to them? Are they interacting with your content? And just generally what's happening. So that's the first piece, the whole profile analytics. What's the value of your presence there? Marketing use case, sales use case. There is a sort of comms and PR use case there as well, but that's, it's just reach and frequency stuff. So that's part one, profile analytics, super useful. Part two is content. How well is your content doing? Who's producing the most effective content? Who's generating the most meaningful engagement from their content? What themes are producing the best results? What hashtags should you be following? So it's part social listening, part content performance and analytics. Again, this is all locked away in individual back of the room areas on LinkedIn at the moment. So this is super interesting because you can, for example, look at a list of all the posts across your entire team, broken out by month for the entire period that we've been gathering data, and you can say, look, who has spent the most time on the network and generated the most value, right? So I often find common use case for us is the sort of remit from the top down to salespeople or any customer facing people is you guys need to be active on LinkedIn. You need to be doing stuff. We all know that a large proportion of the sort of stuff that goes on LinkedIn is hot garbage of, like a circle jerk of single business CEOs who are just trying to sell courses to each other. There is a really useful way to cut through all that stuff, but it's very hard to measure how because LinkedIn doesn't release that information. So that is where we come in. So we can tell you as an individual how well you're doing. You can then turn around and be like, look at all the results I'm generating for free with my own time. Or as a running, if you're running a team, you're running a sales team, you're running running marketing campaigns and you want to show the impact on sales, we can tell you that. So very straightforward, unlocks all that data, presents it back super nicely. The other thing we can do from a content perspective is we can monitor competition, and we can do the basics of social listening from the channel. So that's pretty straightforward. It's your usual, give us your keywords, give us your hashtags, give us your products, services, whatever you want to monitor. We'll then pull that data together and then we'll surface that in the hub. So that combination of two things, how's your content performing versus what your competition doing, is obviously very helpful. And from a sales point of view, you can get loads of great sales intelligence there. From a marketing perspective, you can shape up your content and just test your messaging and sharpen everything up. The other thing we can do there, which is super interesting, that not a lot of other people are doing, is measure the interaction. So we can show you who's most engaged with your your team members' content or your team members themselves. Are they in target accounts? Are they not? Is it just all your colleagues? Like having a little love party, which obviously is beneficial as well, by the way. So that sort of whole social interaction, social selling, who's doing what to each other in a professional sense is also very useful. We can pull it out. That's actually sort of 2A. So number one, profile analytics. Number two, content analytics. Number three is target audience data. So that's where we pull together a target audience database. So we use a B2B database to extract the basics like your company's contacts, all the related information. We then match that back to LinkedIn and we can tell you who's connected to who, how connected you are, which of your teams assigned to which accounts and have they opened up those lines of communication on LinkedIn. We're working on bringing in other channels and other tracking in there, but we can show you everything that's locked away in individual people's profiles we surface in there. So again, this is impossible to actually capture anywhere else, but you can dive in there. You can see, your list of contacts per company. You can see how well connected your team members are or you are. You can see a little timeline of your interactions with those people through your DMs. That stuff's just really useful because, again, like this is all, I feel like we're building stuff that LinkedIn should be building here, but we need this because this is how we run all our service-based stuff through Flow State, and that's why it now exists, and that's why we would love your feedback on it. So rounding all that off, as I mentioned, it's not SaaS, it's supported software at the moment, because there's a few challenges around how we could potentially surface this as a SaaS solution. But look, the short version is if you want to trial it, it's a really simple process. Send us an inquiry. There'll be a page live on our website about this very soon, whenever we finish it off. I'll say next week. There'll be a page live next week. In the meantime, just message me on LinkedIn or through the website. So if you want to trial it, 3 steps, very straightforward. Send us an inquiry. We just need to know how many people, your company, and give us a top 3 target accounts that you want to take a look at. with the role profiles that you're targeting, or a persona, or whatever you've got, basically, just send us your go-to-market stuff or your sales proposition stuff. Once we've reviewed that, we'll then get in touch with you to onboard you to the platform. So very straightforward process. We need access to your LinkedIn profile for 24 to 48 hours to gather a sample set of data. We work with a lot of people across a lot of companies, by the way. We're very trustworthy. We're happy to sign NDAs. Everything's very securely managed. I can send you some information on that. But look, that's it. So we'll pull the data. After that, you can happily change your password and we'll have extracted what we need. And then from there, we then give you access. So you can have 14 days to play around with the data. You get access to us in our team. So you can talk to me, you can talk to my team, and just chat through what's in there, what you can do with it. Give us your feedback. Is it telling you things that you need? Is it, is there stuff that you wish that was in there that isn't? Would love to hear what you think, basically. So that's the gist. Very straightforward process. Once those 2 weeks are over, we're just working through our sort of pricing around it. There's a per seat if you just want to have access to the data. As I mentioned, there's a process that's automated to update everything. The data updates every week, refreshes every week at the moment. If you want more frequency, there's sort of structures around that and pricing around that. If you want access to us and support from us, there's a sort of few different tiers of support you can get from us. So keen to hear what you think it's worth. Not like, don't say like $1 or free. It's not going to be free, but useful pricing feedback, helpful. But look, that's it. So I'm really keen just to understand more about what everybody wants from this, particularly from the sales and revenue generation roles. If you're in marketing roles as well, it'll be familiar territory for you, the dashboardy elements, but I'm really trying to sharpen up those sales pieces. So look, that's where we're at. That's what I'm really focused on right now. And obviously going into next year. So if you'd like to line up a trial for Q1, like just hit me up. If you want to squeeze in a trial now, we've got a bit of a window before we finish up, probably like 2-ish weeks maybe. So yeah, just let me know. And I'm super excited about it because it's, like one of my own little digital children, like that I've, made the horrible, ugly version, and then it's had a glow up from some more professional people who are more specialist, and now it's kind of getting ready to, to go to the ball, basically. So that's where we're at. So yeah, look, that's the hub. That's what we're very focused on. FlowState, as you probably know by now, is a software and solutions business. So we sort of balance between the two, but I'm just very focused on how we can refine our tools based on what you want, because I already know what we need. That's all built into the roadmap. I just want to marry that up with what you need so we can make it even bigger and more beautiful and even better for next year. So look, that's it really. I just wanted to sort of fire that out there, keep it pretty focused around what we're up to, and as we go into next year, just keep chatting about this. So as I said, if you're keen to join a trial, please do let me know. I would love to hear from you. Enjoy the rest of Friday. Have a great weekend. If you're on the east coast of Australia, good luck in the heat. And thank you for joining me. I will see you next week.